Hey, you. I can't wait to keep healing, and I hope we can heal together. We all have to heal individually, of course, but we can find ways to do this together and come together in such seemingly divided times. And when I talk about healing, we all have all sorts of different healing we need to uh, work towards. But those of us with um, addictions, which is much of the world in some sense or another, but healing due to um, deeply embedded trauma, namely from early childhood especially, but tends to start there, and then when those traumas, which are typically unconscious, lay dormant and are allowed to just manifest inside of ourselves and cause us dis-ease of the soul, the spirit, which then turns physical as we're not externalizing that which is internal. The traumas grow and stack and compound over the years because you're living in this fight or flight state, which tends to cause one to live in a state of constant tension, stress, paranoia, hypervigilance. And a lot of that stuff leads to anxieties, and that turns into self-destructive tendencies, self-sabotaging, uh, things that lead to us traumatizing ourselves further and allowing ourselves to be in situations where we leave ourselves open to experience further trauma. And you get so desensitized to what's actually happening to you. By the time you wake up to these concepts and what we've actually been doing to ourselves and how deep and far back this goes, can feel like an existential nightmare, because it's like, oh no, how are we going to unravel this tangled mess? But there are so many ways. We just have to be willing to be open to the fact that there's so much we don't know. Not to totally crap on Western medicine, but a lot of the systems and mechanisms in place to deal with these things are not equipped to really get to the root of our problems. And I say this as someone who has, had to take aspects of my own healing into my own hands over the years. I've gotten help from, therapists and tried medications and stuff, but I'm not with that. I'm a lot more in line with a lot of the Eastern teachings and holistic healing. But one of the things that makes this difficult also is that we've all been brought up and educated in this broken system that teaches an exoteric body of knowledge, a very limited, base level, literal interpretation of most concepts. And by that, all we're really taught is to how to be victims to this system that is trying to enslave and consume us in multiple ways and have us consume ourselves, do the job for them. However, the esoteric bodies of knowledge that one can explore and delve into provide an array of different tools, frameworks to explore and work within that teach us to understand ourselves, our own psychology, biology, neurochemistry. There's a lot, if we're open to it, that is out there that can help us. And I say this as someone who's done a lot of seeking and found a lot of salvation in things that we're told are hokey. We're told they're often mocked, and that's, in my opinion, part of the designs of these systems that teach us to be victims. And it's easy to give up and surrender to the system when all you're taught is we have to rely on pills, doctors who are educated on broken pretenses, and then teaching generations and generations based off of this limited, very arrogant systems. But of course, again, the esoterics, body of knowledge understood by a few. And the reason it's understood by a few is because if you withhold that information or make it difficult for one to realize it's even out there and create a lack of drive for them to even want to explore these things, then those who do understand it can utilize it against us. And these are the same ones who designed this victimized system. So, got you in the palm of their hand, you know? Customers, patients, consumers, so many things, and they're just profiting off us and laughing all the way to the bank about it. It's heartless. They're our best interest in our health and quality living conditions and just quality of life overall is not the intention. It's, especially in the West. But I would encourage, especially those who've endured a life of abuse, whether that be just, physical, sexual, emotional, mental, whatever. Abuse is abuse, It's not, we shouldn't compare our suffering. Like, not all suffering is created equal, but we can all relate to it. If you don't say like, oh, well, I suffered more, so you don't get it. You're like, I do understand that, but it's all relative, you don't know how one has received that type of suffering, even if it may pale in comparison to what you've gone through. There's so many factors, but I encourage those who are at a point of being broken enough and they want, especially like they yearn for more and yearn to live and find themselves in their soul and their spirit. I encourage you to explore some of these occult and esoteric things. Some, you call it magic. Magic is causing a change in one's reality in conformity with one's will. Like, using your willpower and your conscious awareness to realize the mind controls all. And we create our reality. Our reality, our external reality, is a reflection of our internal world. And that internal world starts on higher planes in the mental plane. namely. People don't think of thoughts as things, very important things. They're just not, they're not tangible in the way that we experience physical reality. But there are answers out there, and there is so much hope to be found out there. And this is coming from someone who, I've had a very interesting life. I've struggled with addiction most of my life. Endured physical, sexual abuse as a child. I died at my birth. Don't exactly know what happened because my addict parents didn't feel a need to investigate any further, and they were satisfied with the answer of, well, the response of me coming out not breathing, being taken away somewhere for a couple days, and then being brought back and told that I grow up to have severe brain damage. They never investigated that any further. That would, I don't have kids, but I know if I did, that would not suffice as far as an answer goes as to what the hell happened to my kid. But even just like coming into the world like that, not only does it set you up for like a sense of like, wow, I guess I wasn't worth investigating further, but it also, coming into the world with a near-death experience, it's left me open to some very interesting sides of life that most don't even consider real. And growing up like that, with that as your default, will leave you feeling crazy in a lot of ways, and isolated and alienated, because out of all your attempts of trying to express how you interface with the world, hypersensitivity on all levels, and just experiencing dimensions of this reality that people just are fully unaware of and or unwilling to open themselves to. So it's it's just inherently alienating. But I know there are people out there who understand, and I'm trying to find y'all's. And I have the utmost faith that our time is here. The time is coming. The tribes are rendezvousing. I guess this is just a rambling message of hope with the Quail Man right there. Yeah, I never would have dreamed, even a year or two ago, that I'd be where I am now. And I've been on this path of like this phase of my healing and awakening, so to speak, last 5 years or so. There's been many phases and iterations of this process. And there's going to be countless more iterations and phases through, till my final breath. And I'm so grateful to have that outlook and that childlike wonderment and excitement for the future finally. When I never even used to think about the next day, because I didn't even care if I made it to the next day, the next hour, in some cases, for long periods of my life. And I'm just saying, if you are craving, your soul's craving for something deeper, that something deeper is out there for you. And you just have to, I shouldn't say you have to do anything, but depending on how deeply you are embedded into the system, like there's degrees of unlearning we all have to do to take our power back. But it's possible. Like, you just have to want it. You just have to, like, that's why I got into all this occult and esoteric stuff, is because I was not satisfied with the answers that are spoon-fed to us. I was so broken in so many ways that I had to seek deeper things to maybe find answers to the mysteries of my life that, I'm still unraveling a lot of them. But once again, we've made a lot of progress. But yeah, getting into this stuff is not for everybody, but it could help everybody to some degree. There's just a lot of people that they don't have a desire to seek and dig deeper. They're content where they're at, and that's fine. This world needs that. But again, there's a lot of us out there who need something more because we're not satisfied with the illusion that we've been sold, and it's crumbling, thankfully. It's gonna continue to be messy for a while. That's why it's best to work on yourself and find yourself and do what you can to do the work you can before these systems start crumbling even further. So then you'll have a foundation within yourself to where you can hopefully be your own guidance and follow your heart's compass. A little bit of a ramble here, but that's how we do. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I have enough space on my phone, so I just wanted to let loose for a little bit, and just say, even amidst seemingly dark, grim times, I think we have a very hopeful future, and we have access to all of these tools that can provide us a more fulfilling life and fulfilling relationship with self at a couple clicks of a fingertip. If you're totally blind to all this occult and esoteric spiritual stuff, it's hard to know where to begin and what sources you can trust. So if anyone is curious that has maybe got to this point in the video, and you have any questions about resources, I would be more than happy to help steer you in direction of some things that I have found profoundly helpful and have really helped change me in many, many ways. And it's a process. It's not a linear process. Can be a gradual process, or there are steps, designated steps you can follow to do some of these things too. But I like the finding it out for yourself, or for using the tools that are out there, but carving your own path. It's a better way to say it, I think. So, yeah, dude, I know this world is just yearning for some new truths and some new symbols and new ideas to get that fire burning within the collective. And it's already well lit and burning. Lots happening, and it's seemingly a dark time if you allow the propaganda arms of the American media put that fear into you. But I've never been more hopeful for the future and more excited to see where this world goes. Life is funny, and I don't know if you planned on ending up where you are currently in your life. I know I sure didn't. But again, I never really had plans of making it this far. And I'm so glad I proved myself wrong. And anyone out there watching this that is, endured life's trials and tribulations, I'm so glad you're still here as well. Like, suffering can really be one of our most powerful and real teachers if we do not fear the abyssal and abysmal, world shredding and shattering work that suffering can do, that constructive deconstruction. We have to lose our world multiple times before we can start to wake up, I think, or feel a need to seek deeper. By losing your world, what I mean is, how many times have you had a seemingly concrete worldview or relationship with your family or somebody that you considered family that just gets ripped out from under you, and then you're thrown into an existential hell, and you feel like you're free falling into panic, and then you have to find something to take place of your worldview, because a lot of people seem to need definite answers. But if you can also surrender to the chaos and the suffering, well, then you'll be okay not having concrete beliefs. As a wise man once said, I don't hold many beliefs, but I've got a lot of suspicions. Robert Anton Wilson. And with that, peace out.